District basketball races continue to heat up, with girls teams entering the second half of league play while boys wrap up round one. We've got highlights from key games. Plus, the #1 ranked girls team in 5A from Mansfield Timberview joins us in studio. Brian Gossett is back too, and former Southlake Carroll football coach Hal Wasson returning to the sidelines in Corsicana.
This is the Chevy High School Sports Special, sponsored by your North Texas Chevy dealers. Chevy drives Texas.
Just a couple of weeks are all that remain in the regular season for girls basketball. One more for the boys, then we'll be talking playoffs. Hello again, everyone. I'm Joe Trahan. District play continuing this week on the hardwoods. The goal is to finish on top of the standings. And going into this weekend's games, two teams were tied for the lead in District 10 6A. State-ranked South Garland going up against Lakeview Centennial Friday. Both teams coming in with 6-0 district records. Nice showdown here. University of Kentucky signing Tyrese Maxey gets the first points from the field for South Garland. Long three-pointer gives the Colonels the early lead. Lakeview keeping it close with a couple of early three-pointers of their own. Arian Williams hits from the top of the key, and that makes it a two-point game. But Maxey would hit 3 threes in the first quarter, accounting for half of South Garland's points in the opening 8 minutes. Colonels open up an 18-12 lead after one. Take you to the second quarter. It's South Garland's Texas A&M signee, Chris Harris Jr., scoring the first 5 points for the Colonels, and it was a 2-point game at the half. Then in the opening seconds of the third quarter, Maxey will throw it down to get the second half underway. Maxey would finish with 29 points to lead South Garland. And Chris Harris Jr. adds 23 for the Colonels, who outscore Lakeview 23-6 in the third quarter. And South Garland wins it 67-39 to claim sole possession of first place. Top two girls teams in Texas. #1 ranked Cedar Hill visiting the #2 ranked DeSoto Eagles in their District 7-6A matchup. Cedar Hill leads by 1 in the first quarter, but DeSoto goes in front after the missed shot and Asia Thompson's second chance basket. That makes it 9-8. It's tied later in the first when DeSoto gets the ball to Tiana Herron, who gets the open look and sinks it for a 2-point Lady Eagles lead. DeSoto still up 2 early in the second quarter, but when Cedar Hill's DJ McCarty makes the three-pointer, the Lady Longhorns go back in front. Back and forth we go. It's tied just before the half when McCarty scores 2 more just before the buzzer, and Cedar Hill leads by 2 at the half. They would also win it on a buzzer beater in the fourth quarter. Lady Longhorns win 44-43 to stay perfect in district and #1 in the state. Wilmer Hutchins, the #1 ranked boys team in Class 4A. The Eagles playing Carter Saturday in a huge district game. Carter led by 2 starting the second quarter. Then the Cowboys get 6 straight points from a Darren Scott to stretch their lead to 7. But Wilmer Hutchins answers with a 12-0 run. Three-pointer by Davian Sanders, part of that run, and it gives the Eagles the lead. Hutch opened up a 9-point lead in the third quarter before Carter's Zahad Mumford, that is, hits the 3-point shot to make it a 6-point game. Mumford finishes with 13 to lead the Cowboys. But leading all scorers would be Jakevin Leffridge. For Wilmer Hutchins, he hits the 3 there, 3 of his 26 to put the Eagles up 8 late in the third quarter. But get this, Carter comes all the way back to tie it in the fourth. Mumford scores on the inbounds play, and we're even at 43 all. Wilmer Hutchins trying to retake the lead in the final minute. They missed the jumper, but Leffridge is there to tip it back in. Eagles take a 2-point lead. They hold on for the win over Carter, 51-48, the final there. More highlights still to come, but right now, more off-season football news. Former Southlake Carroll head coach Hal Wasson has a new job, and it's close to his roots. Mike Leslie has more in this week's Spotlight.
He's parking in the head coach's spot again and back to running a program.
I was driving and she said, "Hey, you want to talk about the head football coaching job here?" And I said, "Wow. Let me pull over here."
For Hal Wasson, coming here to Corsicana is like returning home to a program where he was an assistant coach under Don Denbo in the mid-'80s. Now he brings his state championship pedigree to a program he aspired to run nearly 2 decades ago.
1993, my goal was to become the head football coach at Corsicana. Got it on paper, it was written, my wife found it, The coaching position I've always wanted from day one. The best thing for me personally and my family was Corsicana.
Wasson takes over for the Tigers just 11 months after an awkward divorce from the South Lake Carroll program, where he won a state title in 2011, but also butted heads with then athletic director Darren Allman.
Every place, wherever you are, has different challenges, and there's a different set of drama. But you know what? That's inevitable. It's going to happen. So through all that stuff, you learn not to crater to the drama. You embrace the adversity, you embrace the challenges, or it embraces you. All right, big dog, you want some of it?
Now a man who had to leave a high school state championship game at halftime because he couldn't bear to not be coaching has a chance to get back on the sidelines.
So what did I miss most about the game? The huddle, the kids, the coaches, and I will never take that for granted, ever. I'm going to embrace every day as a chance to make that huddle stronger.
In Corsicana, Mike Leslie.
Good day to be a Tiger.
Channel 8 Sports.
All day, every day.
Hal Wasson and Corsicana certainly sounds like a great fit. And we've got more great basketball coverage still to come. We've got highlights, and the #1 ranked Mansfield Timberview Lady Wolves are our guest in studio. We'll talk to them next on the Chevy High School Sports Special. Welcome back to the Chevy High School Sports Special, where we continue now with highlights from this week's district basketball action. The #8 ranked Rockwall Yellow Jackets in Mesquite taking on the Horn Jaguars Friday. Let's check out the early going. Here's Sherman Brashear getting it going down low. He gets the reverse layup to fall, and we're tied in the first. Jaguars on the break now. This is Zakir Sawyer, and he elevates for the throwdown, and that has Horn out to the 10-2 lead, still in the first. Rockwall's Samuel Williamson rises up, hits the shot, the Louisville commit cutting into Horn's lead. But just before the end of the first quarter, Sawyer rises up and beats the buzzer with the triple, 22-15 Horn after one. Second quarter now, where Will Batozak gets the touch for the bucket. Nice touch there. Yellow Jackets tie it up at 27. Later on, Jillian Minuet gets the layup for Horn, and they would lead at the half. But Rockwall comes back to win this one, the final 72-66. More District 12 4A action from Saturday now. State-ranked Dallas Lincoln taking on Roosevelt at Cobb Fieldhouse. Lincoln leads by 3 after 1, but Roosevelt's Elihu Simmons scores the first 4 points in the second quarter. His layup putting the Mustangs in front by 1. Lincoln responds by scoring 13 of the next 16 points. Deontay Greer's bucket with an assist from Deshaun King gives the Tigers their biggest lead of the first half at 30-21. Lincoln leads by 6 at the half, but Roosevelt rallies again in the third quarter. Simmons getting the three-pointer to fall. That ties the game at 46. It was tied at 49 to begin the fourth quarter, but Lincoln starts to pull away. Cameron Johnson coming up with the turnover, converting it with the dunk. Tigers up by 5. Johnson gets the next 2 for Lincoln as well, as the Tigers go on for the win over Roosevelt, 68-57, the final there. Both of the past 2 seasons have resulted in trips to the state tournament for the Mansfield Timberview Lady Wolves, and both of those seasons have ended with losses in the 5A championship game. Timberview is back this year with the potential to reach a 3rd straight title game. They're currently ranked #1 in Class 5A, and they're back on the show to talk to us tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks so much for being here.
Thanks for having us, Joe.
All right, let's first talk to head coach Kit Martin. Coach, thanks so much for being here again. And I know we have a lot of returners to the show, and you have a lot of returners on your team. But I'm curious, tell me about the character of this year's group.
I think this year's group is a little bit tighter than we've been in the past, partially because we have a lot of kids that have played for several years back to back. Some of them up to 5 years, 6 years together. It makes a difference, and it's a really fun group to watch, and fans feel like it's probably the most fun team they've ever seen.
When you guys get it going, it is absolutely something to watch, and we've seen you guys win so much. So let's meet some of the seniors that are on your team. First up is Destiny Jackson. She's a guard, been on this senior team, this varsity team for all 4 years. And Destiny, let's talk about Well, the fact that you guys don't need a motto, right? Because I ask teams a lot about mottos when they come in, but it's more of an understanding and a goal for you guys. Having made those 2 straight trips to the state title game, I guess it's all about finishing. Tell me how you guys have thought about that goal and how you guys have approached it coming into this season.
Well, I've really thought about it a lot, especially since we've been to the state tournament 2 years in a row, and it's been tough since then. But our hard work usually starts in off season. Every hard practice, it's been tough, but you know, we fought though. I think we can finish it.
And how have you seen that hard work start to pay off this year? I mean, I know you guys, you just win, and win, especially in district, but have you guys gotten even better? Have you seen any more growth in terms of just how good you can be, Destiny?
We've seen growth in not just the starters, but coming off the bench. Everybody's able to contribute to the team, and I really think that we're unselfish.
Yeah, it's been fun to watch. It's been great. All right, up next, we want to meet Michaela Hutchinson. And I mentioned all the winning, right? So let me break it down for you. And this is incredible. Destiny Jackson, who you just met, and Michaela Hutchinson have won 51 straight district games. With 5 more wins, that's how many district games they've got left in this season, they will go 4 years undefeated in district. Are you kidding me? It's great stuff. So, Michaela, after I've sung your praises, I'm curious, with all that winning, how do you think that's prepared you guys for what you will face in the playoffs upcoming this postseason?
We've won so much when we step on the floor. We expect to win, and even when we're playing bad and we're down, we always come up with the W.
Yeah, you do. We've seen you do that a whole lot. It doesn't matter, right? And some of those close games, when you are able to pull out those wins, how important are those victories going to be when you get to the playoffs, you think?
Very important, because we just want to go home.
That's right. That's right. One and done. You got to be able to play under that pressure. All right, up next is Kennedy Wilson. And Kennedy, Coach mentioned it. You guys have been together. In fact, the 4 of you who are speaking tonight have all played together for 4.5, going on 5 years, all the way back since 8th grade. So I suspect y'all are pretty close. What do y'all do to keep that close-knit nature of your team? How do y'all go about fostering it and building those bonds?
Well, we've been together since 8th grade, so just with everything we do, we connect, and along with our chemistry, all of that reflects on the court.
Does it feel like a sisterhood? I mean, you guys have been together so long. Do y'all feel like sisters, and does that help you on the court? Yes,
we feel like family, honestly.
That's great. That's great. Family goes a long way, especially at this time of year when you got to try and get those playoff wins. All right, up next, we want to meet Denasia Collins. She's a forward, senior as well. So, I mean, the obvious question, Denasia, what would it mean getting back to state? What would it mean if you guys were to win state?
It would mean a lot to us, and not just only us, but the community and the fans who support us, because as Destiny said, the last 2 times we went to state was tough, but I think that this year is our year, and the 3rd time is a charm.
Yeah, I guess the 3rd time would be the charm, and none of us would at all be surprised if you get it done this time. So let's talk about that, Coach, as we close. What are some of the hallmarks and keystones for your team that you need to be able to pull off to be ready to get where you want to go this postseason?
I think our team offense is pretty tremendous. We're scoring at about 68 a game, but we also understand that we're going to have to be a great defensive team down the stretch. We've got quality opponents in our way. We know it's going to be a battle, but we are battle tested, and I believe that the versatility and the depth of this group is going to exceed even our own expectations come February and March.
Yeah, as I said, we wouldn't be surprised at all. Battle tested. It's the Mansfield Timberview Lady Wolves. Hey, thanks so much for being on the show tonight, and good luck with the rest of the year, ladies.
Thanks for having us, Joe.
All right, more basketball highlights coming up when we come back, and we'll talk to Brian Gossett next. Keep it here, folks. It's the Chevy High School Sports Special. Frisco Lone Star is home to the 12th ranked girls team in Class 5A. The Lady Rangers hosting Wakeland Friday. First quarter, that's Mia Deck with a steal for Lone Star. She brings it back up for the layup at 2 of her 14 points. More defense leading to offense. This time Deck passes to Leah Harris for the easy bucket, and Lone Star jumps out to a 15-0 lead. Now the Wolverines do get on the board. AJ Futrell scoring down low for the Wolverines, but Lone Star wins this one big, 63-15, the final. Lone Star's boys are also state ranked 22nd according to the TABC, also at home against Wakeland. First quarter, Lone Star's Malik Williams off the steal, lays it up, and with the contact, gets the foul. Rangers lead it early. Actually, he didn't get the foul, but he got the bucket, more importantly. At the other end, Wakeland's Michael Neiman misses from the corner, but Drake Kinswater battles for the offensive rebound and scores, but the Rangers still led 15-5. Lone Star then works it around to Isaiah Lewis, who shoots and hits from long range. Lone Star leads 21-8 by the end of one, and they go on to win it 61-46. High school hoops season getting deeper and deeper into district play. Teams starting to establish themselves in the standings, but there's still time for things to change. And Brian Gossett of the Fort Worth Star-Telegram joins me now to talk about district races and much more. And since we had the Mansfield Timberview girls in earlier, let's start on the girls' side of things. And when you talk about 6A, Cedar Hill and DeSoto leading the way.
Yeah, they come in number 1 and number 2 in the rankings, and they're both in the same district, so that's a tough district to go through. You know, for years it's been kind of Duncanville has been the class. Doesn't mean you can take them out. You know, come playoff time, they're probably a different team, but seems like Dallas-Fort Worth is there's more and more teams, good teams. So Cedar Hill and DeSoto, just a couple of them in 6A to watch out for. What
do you think really makes Cedar Hill tick?
I think just they're a scrappy team. You know, they hit a buzzer beater last week against DeSoto to beat them 44-43. They just kind of get after you. You think, you know, maybe you got a shot, but defensively they're sound. So this might be their year.
No, they're good at wearing teams down, no doubt about that. So let's talk about Timberview, right? So 5A, they're ranked number 1 now. As good as it gets coming in, they are certainly battle tested. They've been to the last 2 state championship games, and they couldn't win them. They like to say the third time's the charm. What do you think about their chances?
Yeah, I've been using this word a lot since the school year started with football teams. Just hungry. They're hungrier. You know, trying to get over that hump. Just playing those many games the last 2 seasons and coming up short both times. And so yeah, third time's the charm is great. Like you talked to them before, they're a senior heavy team. I think they have 5 girls that have signed or are going to play at the next level. Coach Martin's one of the best in the country in terms of girls basketball coaches. And so, yeah, I think they only have 1 loss on the whole year. But Timberview, you know, if they were going to do it, I would guess it would be this year.
Yeah, no, it all sets up for them to, you know, have that crowning achievement, that crowning moment. And the third time is the charm would be a great way to finish it up for them. We want to talk about boys as well, and you want to talk about talent laden. The DFW area, 8 of the top 10 teams, you know, in the state, right here from DFW. It is fun to watch on a night in, night out basis. When you talk about those teams that you really like to go and see, who's at the top of your list?
Yeah, we're talking 6A. You know, Duncanville looks really good. You know, they won the Whataburger tournament, beating Geyer. Also beat Timberview. Jemias Ramsey, you know, if you get a chance to watch him, he's like a highlight reel. He's dunking, windmill, all that good stuff. Texas Tech is where he's going. And then, you know, you got to keep Geyer in it. You know, reached the regional tournament last season. You know, they've been kind of number 1 for quite a while. And then you got North Crowley, Coach Bracco. You know, he's been with North Crowley for the last 20 years. You know, got their 600 win. And then you also got, you know, Allen and Richardson Pierce, you know, Drew Timmy, who's signed to Gonzaga. So yeah, it's just loaded. South Garland, you know, who went to the state tournament last season. So it is loaded in 6A again.
Yeah, it's great. It's fun to watch, fun for us to show all the highlights. And then let's talk about, we don't want to forget about 5A. When we talk about a team like Lancaster, again, they've been there before in the past, and they're looking like they could have a shot again.
Yeah, you know, when I first started, I think they had won 2 straight state titles. Kind of took a little bump there, but it seems they're back. Number 1 in 5A. You know, a team really in the Fort Worth area that I cover that could be make some noise. You know, a underdog is Brewer, White Cinnamon Brewer. You know, I got to see them last week against Grapevine. Battle of 2 undefeated district teams, and they beat Grapevine by 16 points. Again, senior heavy team. 4 seniors in the starting lineup. Cortland Blake. You know, kind of their big guy, 6'6", 6'7" guy who can shoot. So watch for Brewer, but yeah, Lancaster, you know, when the playoffs start, you got to think number 1 in 5A, they're probably the favorite.
All right, we don't want to let this show end without our Gossett shout-outs. It's becoming a staple on the show. So what do you got this week?
Well, it's been a while since we've done an episode, so just happy belated birthday shout-outs. First off, my dad, the great James Gossett, January 12th was his birthday. Hey, Dad. And then, of course, the greatest of all time here, Joe Trahan, January 5th. So hopefully you had a great birthday. Yeah,
I did have a great birthday. Checks in the mail, by the way. And see, now I know why I got along with Papa Gossett so well. He's a fellow Capricorn.
Yes.
And, of course, Mom, we love you, too. And thanks so much for letting your son be a part of the program. Great stuff, great insight. We appreciate you being here.
Thanks, Joe.
All right, folks, stay with us. The Team of the Week is coming your way next.
Now, here's your Chevy Team of the Week, sponsored by your North Texas Chevy dealers.
District 10 6A showdown Friday between South Garland and Lakeview Centennial. Both teams coming in with 6-0 records. South Garland's Tyrese Maxey hitting 3 3-pointers in the first quarter, accounting for half of his team's points in the opening stanza. Then Maxey's teammate, Chris Harris Jr., he scores the first 5 points of the second quarter. But still, it was a 2-point game at halftime. But the third quarter begins with Maxey getting the ball and throwing it down for 2 of his 29 points for South Garland. And Chris Harris Jr. adds 23 for the Colonels, who outscore Lakeview 23-6 in the third quarter. South Garland claims sole possession of first place with a 67-39 win. They also claim the title of Chevy Team of the Week. Another week of high school basketball is done. The Mansfield Timberview Lady Wolves are still #1 in Class 5A and in District 5-5A. We want to say thanks again to head coach Kit Martin and her team for being on the show tonight. Ladies, y'all did a fantastic job. And to all of you watching, thanks so much for spending some time, folks. We'll be back with another edition of the Chevy High School Sports Special next Sunday night. So until then, have a good night and a great week. I'm Joe Trahan.
This has been the Chevy High School Sports Special, sponsored by your North Texas Chevy dealers. Chevy drives Texas.